Alright, we're going to look at solving quadratic equations by factoring. First thing we're going to do is make sure that all we have on the right side is a 0, which we do. So now we're going to factor. When you factor this trinomial, this quadratic expression, you get k plus 5 and k plus 2 equals 0. Now we're just going to write two separate equations. K plus 5 equals 0. K plus 2 equals 0. Subtract 5. K equals negative 5. Subtract 2. K equals negative 2. So negative 5 and negative 2 would be your two answers. Okay, first thing we need to do is make the right side equal 0. So we subtract 5. You get n squared minus 4n minus 32 equals 0. Now we're ready to factor the trinomial. And our two binomials would be n minus 8 and n plus 4 equals 0. Now split it into two equations and solve. N minus 8 equals 0. N plus 4 equals 0. So you add 8. N equals 8. Subtract 4. N equals 4. So 8 and 4 would be your two solutions. Right, again, we're trying to make it equal 0. So we add 8m to each side. Notice these are not like terms, so we'll just write out n squared plus 8m equals 0. Then when you go to factor, you have a common factor of m. And when we pull that out, we're left with m plus 8. So we have m equals 0. M plus 8 equals 0. Subtract 8. M equals negative 8. And then that one's already solved. It's just 0. So 0 and negative 8 would be your two answers. Alright, again, we're trying to make it equal to 0 on the right. So we need to add 5. Notice I'm going to put it under the like term here and add 2n. Same thing, I'm going to put it under its like term. So that gives you 6n squared minus 54n plus 84 equals 0. Okay, looks like I was running out of room, so we made it smaller. Now we can factor the trinomial, or we can look for a common factor first. It looks like all three of these would be divisible by 6, so we divide everything, including the 0 on the other side, by 6. That gives you n squared minus 9n plus 14 equals 0. Then you go to factor n minus 2 and n minus 7 equals 0. N minus 2 equals 0. N minus 7 equals 0. Add 2, so n equals 2. Add 7, n equals 7. So 2 and 7. Okay, we need to add 6 to each side so that we have 0 on the right. Get 42b squared minus 204b minus 30 equals 0. Now all of these are divisible by 6 again. So we can divide them all by 6. 7b squared minus 34b minus 5 equals 0. Then now we're looking for the two factors. So you have 7b plus 1 would be your first factor, and b minus 5 would be the second one. Create a little bit more room here. So write two equations, 7b plus 1 equals 0, and b minus 5 equals 0. So here we subtract 1, so 7b equals 1, and then divide by 7. Or 7b equals negative 1, sorry. And then you divide by 7, so negative 1 over 7. Over here we add 5, so b equals 5. So negative 1 over 7 and 5 would be your two answers. Alright, now we're going to go to solve this. We need to move both of these over here. Notice there's no like terms, so I'm just going to move them both. But remember, when you move something to the other side, the sign changes. So it's going to be 4x squared plus 20x plus 25 equals 0. Notice I also put it in the correct order we need to factor a trinomial. Now our two factors would be 2x plus 5 and 2x plus 5. Now these are the same, so we're going to get the same answer each time. So I'm just going to solve it once. Subtract 5. 2x equals negative 5. Then we divide by 2. So x equals negative 5 over 2. And you're only going to, it looks like you only have one answer on this one, and that's because it's called a double root. And you get the same answer 2 times. So negative 5 over 2 is what you would put in.